Welcome to our workshop and studio. This is where my husband repairs old radios like shortwave radios, ham radios, transceivers, power supplies. Oh, you don't care about that stuff. I'm here to give you a tour of my studio, which is upstairs. Come along. We built this structure because we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-story ranch house. We just didn't have enough space for all our hobbies. The studio is divided into 2 sections. Here's the east section. And here is the west section. I do most of my acrylics over here, though I do have a couple of watercolors on display here. This is an old art table. It's an old drafting table that we got used for $50 or something like that. It actually tilts, but I don't use it that way. I have lots of room for paper. In fact, this drawer is so big because I love to spread out and take room. When I want to cut a full sheet into pieces, I just do it in here. I measure it, draw my lines, cut it, right in the drawer. And I do have a lot of space up here. I even have a sewing machine. We have a new project. I'm getting water. That's in progress. We're waiting for the snow to melt to bring the water to the building. Yay! I wanted to show you, I try to be organized. I'm a naturally messy person, so this is amazing that I have any kind of organization. And this is my latest way of storing watercolor tubes. These are lipstick holders. And I got this idea from an artist on, you'll never guess, YouTube. And this old thing is an old tackle box that I bought years and years and years ago, and used it, carted it around, lots of room for paints and knives and pencils and erasers, but I've outgrown it. So I have things out like this. This storage cabinet we also got used, and this is actually 2, one on top of the other. They were a little more expensive than the table, but still very affordable and very rugged, very durable. They're very deep, lots of space. Being an attic room, I don't have full walls to hang paintings, and so that's the trade-off. I have to think of other ways of displaying my paintings, but I have a lot of storage space. I have 4 access points in order to get into the attic. Look at this, and it's pretty deep. Now it's sloping, but there's so much space. I have all kinds of supplies in here. Supplies I will probably never use, which I'm sure will be very annoying to my children when I die. And my favorite part is my own invention. Because of the angle, I needed a way to store paintings that would accommodate the angle. So this is a rolling angled shelf. It's tight. So I drew it out on a piece of paper, and I asked my husband to build this so that this shelf would slide in easily. And you can see how I can have the larger paper on the bottom and the decreasing sizes as I go up. And he built it for me. How about that? I wish it were easier to steer, though. I shouldn't complain. I also have this little stool for when I'm looking for paintings. Now, you might say, well, why don't you put labels on it? I probably should. I should do that. I've tried to have different piles of seascapes in one place and landscapes in another and winter scenes in another and florals in another, and it's sort of working, but they're all different ages of painting, so I sort of have an idea where things are, but I do have to spend some time searching, so it is nice to have this stool. I have these extra folding tables that I can get out when I have other artists over. I like to do something with my friends called Painting with Friends. Speaking of which, I didn't want to have this building. When my husband was talking about it, it was going to be a workshop for him so he could expand his ham radio business. And he was doing quite the business for a while. But I didn't want another mortgage, and we already had the one mortgage of the house. And I said, no, I just don't want to do that. He said, okay, how about this? We'll make it a story and a half. You can have your own studio upstairs. You can run classes to earn money to help pay for it. And my response was, when do we start? Here we have a storage bin over the stairwell. And I mostly have paints that are from when I did a lot of acrylic pouring. And I'll show you some of those in a minute. And as you can see, I like to display my paintings on top. I went through a lot of effort to find the perfect tile for the top. This is a Mexican Talavera tile, and I think it's really pretty. Let's see if you can see that center motif. Yep, a little bit. Let me take you to where I used to do a lot of my watercolors. Just a simple setup on one of these foldable tables with this adjustable easel. Very simple, lightweight. And I used to take it places because it is so lightweight. It was one of those Hobby Lobby finds with a 40% off coupon. So I have my containers of water, brushes, and a very large palette, a couple of sketchbooks, and some masking fluid. On this table, this is a current project I'm working on to do a floral that I intend to enter into a competition. So we'll see. It's not all the way done, and there is a deadline. If it turns out, I'll show it to you on YouTube because I am videoing it. Speaking of videoing, this is where I video the paintings for YouTube, for the most part, unless I'm out doing plein air. In fact, that piece you see right there is a plein air piece. Has everything I need, booms. This is for a camera, this is for my phone. Here's some other paintings, a nice old radio my husband had restored for me. That's an example of a poured acrylic. And there's another watercolor, that's Charleston, South Carolina. And this is my workstation where I process all the videos. It was certainly a learning curve to learn the video editing software, and I chose DaVinci Resolve. But I'm pretty much past that now. And up here, because I want to look good on camera, I even have a hair and makeup department. Woohoo! This is part of my library. It's mostly watercolor journals and books, a couple on oils and acrylics, but mostly watercolor. And I have many other watercolor magazines and other art journals hidden away in storage in this building. Here are some examples of poured acrylics, just in case you're curious, because I talked about it. These are tiles that I poured on and then resined. And there's another example. So lots of different art happening up here. And this scene should look familiar if you've watched any of my videos, since I used this backdrop in my intros. Thanks for coming along. Leave any questions for me in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.